Whether you're a seasoned vet of the payments industry or a brand new rookie who just heard the term dual pricing for the first time, you're in the right place. This is the only podcast that shares the strategies and stories behind selling merchant services, all from the perspective of those on the front lines. Welcome to AgentFirst.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the AgentFirst Podcast. I am Justin Vollrath, and I'm super thrilled to be joined. I keep telling her we got to class the place up a little bit, so we had to have her here. So, Kristy Thompson, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. It's awesome. So, this podcast, the AgentFirst Podcast, it's not about promoting Pay Compass. It's not about, promoting ourselves. It's about hopefully inspiring other agents out there, right? We've both been in this industry for a little while. It's telling the stories of maybe some things we've overcome, our stories, because, nobody just falls into, nobody grows up and says, I want to be in the credit card processing industry, right? We stumble into this somehow. And there's people out there that are listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, that are maybe thinking about hanging it up today. Like, I'm just struggling. I can't figure this out. I've got a sucky manager, maybe I'm at the wrong place, or just they're just struggling for whatever there's in their head, maybe, right? And so our hopes are that by having these stories told, that we can help inspire some people to overcome some of those, just really, big roadblocks that are there for them. So let's start with you from kind of the beginning, right? Like, where did you grow up? How did you come across this industry? How did it even happen?
Well, I'm originally from Chicago.
Okay.
And I had an insurance background. I had a farmers insurance agency for 15 years.
Yeah. In Chicago area?
In Chicago.
Okay. Yeah.
And eventually I ended up getting burnt out. I needed a change. And I moved to Florida, sold my agency, and did what everybody does when they move to Florida. I got a real estate license.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What part of Florida were you in?
Naples.
Okay, all right, beautiful, beautiful.
So I did okay. I sold a few houses, but I wasn't passionate about it.
Right.
I wasn't really excited about working in the evenings, working on the weekends. I mean, really, if you're going to succeed in the real estate business, you're working 24/7.
That's for sure. For sure.
So I eventually stumbled upon, I think I was working at a model home.
Okay. Yeah.
And there was a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And I'd be on the internet looking around, and I stumbled upon this opportunity in this business. I'd never heard of it.
Right.
Had no idea what it was, but I was intrigued. And I think I ended up contacting James Shepard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you got into it. Just, yeah. You saw an ad like on the internet somewhere. Okay.
I did.
That's funny. So that's funny. So I don't know if you know this about me, but I was a realtor before I got into this as well. So I know what you're talking about. Nights and weekends you had to, right? I mean, That's really what it was. There was no, even for me, I got to the point where my business became large enough that I was hiring some other people on the real estate side. But, people were like, I hired Justin Vollrath. I didn't hire your assistant. So you're still nights, weekends, the phone rang at dinner time. You had to take it. You never knew what it was going to be. An offer, somebody looking for a house or whatever. So that's interesting. That's interesting. So you've talked to James Shepard now. Mm-hmm. And James, I'm obviously knowing James, he's like, yes, greatest opportunity in the world, right? Obviously, he's going to talk you into it.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, let me backtrack.
Yeah.
I reached out to a company.
Okay.
And it wasn't a great experience. What they wanted to do is they wanted me to, and I know nothing, right?
Right.
They want me to go walk in businesses and collect statements and just send them the statements.
Okay.
And that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
Like no training, nothing.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I have a pretty solid sales background.
Right.
I bring a little bit to the table, And I tried maybe like 2 weeks, I fumbled around with that. Then I contacted James Shepard.
Okay. So that's very funny you say that. So that's exactly was my experience. I got contacted by this company out of northern New York. They would teach me nothing, said just go collect statements and we'll do all the selling over the phone. Maybe we were working for the same company. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did it for about 3 weeks and I said, forget this. I walked away, and that's before I went into real estate. And then I came back to it, 3 years later. So that's funny. So now you're talking to James. James says, oh my gosh, amazing industry.
Yep.
And do you just jump right in? Was it kind of a transition? What did that look like for you?
He referred me to another company.
Okay.
And that person contacted me, and there was a little bit more training, a little bit more structure. And, somebody actually came out and trained me, which was really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I sold a few deals, and then I actually ended up having an injury. So I didn't do anything, just had an emergency surgery, stopped in my tracks. I didn't do anything for about 6 months.
Okay.
By this time, my husband's working in retail management.
That's right.
And he's getting tired of it.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about, no free time, right? They own you. Holidays, you're working holidays, you're working evenings.
Yeah.
Just forget about it. And so I was ready to go back and go sit in a model home for a while. Mm-hmm. And he decided to call the company that I was working with.
Okay.
So they said, yeah. They jumped on it. They flew him to train with somebody for a week. So he goes to train. He comes back. He's all excited.
Fired up, I'm sure.
Fired up.
Yeah.
I think he may have even gotten a deal.
Okay. All right.
He got a deal like the last day before he was getting on the plane.
Yeah.
And he came home and he went out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And nothing was happening. Like, how'd it go? And I mean, I knew exactly what was going on, right? I mean, I have been there, done that.
Yeah.
And
that's a big jump going from retail management over to that.
Sales.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sales.
Yeah, exactly.
So, he's like, I think it's really going well. I've got people all over town thinking about it. And they're so nice, Kristy. They're so nice. And I'm like, yeah, that's exciting, but it's been 2 weeks. And
we're going to pay our bills with thinking about it. Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
So I decided that I was going to have to start going out with him, that I needed to train him. Right. I mean, if we're going to keep a roof over our head and make this happen. So I started going, I'm like, let's go. And we got in the car and it was us, 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
We'd come rolling in, 7:00 at night. And we made it happen.
Yeah.
The two of us out there. I mean, every single day, right? Mm-hmm. Leaving the house by 7:00 in the morning to go to your territory and rolling in late at night.
Yeah.
And, I mean, sometimes a couple of weeks go by and you don't get a deal.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, because I love that. I love that, husband and wife, side by side in the car, let's go do this. And I know some other people have done this as well. And I think everybody falls into two factions of this. Like, it either you're competitive with one another and it's like, how many deals can you sign versus how many, like, I'm going to go work this side of the street, you go work that side of the street. Or it's, we're doing it together and we're walking in together to places. How did you guys do that?
We walked in together.
Okay. All right. It's a little more healthier than the other way, I think.
You think?
I think so. Yeah. Because the other people I know have done it the other way. There's a lot of fighting there.
Well, the competition, I can only imagine. But Jeff respected that I had a pretty strong sales background.
Right.
So he let me, we learned really quickly where his strengths were and where mine were. And we were, it's just very intuitive about when he would step forward and take the lead. And then when I would kind of step back.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Jeff's a smart man. Yeah. So you're there, you're selling, you're in the Naples area. But then something changed, and now you're no longer in Florida, right?
Right.
Yeah. So where did you move to?
Okay. So first of all, we were in Naples, moved up to Fort Myers.
Okay.
And this territory was so
saturated.
Yeah. Literally within our same company, they were
really
all over.
Okay.
And we were driving out, 3 hours. We were starting to get hotels and stay. It came to a point to where we were just like, we need to get out of here. We've got all that we can in this area. And we just picked up and moved up to Panama City, to the Panhandle.
Right.
And that was the best move ever.
Yeah.
We went into Alabama and we made it work.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of deals through the Panhandle.
A lot less agents in Alabama than Florida.
A lot less.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot less.
For sure.
And so we stayed there for a year and a half until we felt like we really had grabbed all the low-lying fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we felt like, the next step is really to kind of get planted. We need to join some networking groups and these kinds of things.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to stay in Florida. We didn't want to deal with the hurricanes.
Yeah, I get you.
So we decided to, after a year and a half up in the Panhandle, to move how many thousand miles? It was a long drive.
Long freaking ways. It's like 1,500 miles probably.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh,
so we just picked Arizona.
Yeah.
We decided Tucson, picked a place, packed it up, got in our cars, and headed here.
Is there something specific about Tucson that made you pick that? Because I'm thinking, I live in Arizona, right? But I'm thinking like, I'm on the beach, I'm on the ocean, I'm in Florida, it's humid, whole different world. And then Tucson, is there something specific about Tucson, or was it just you threw a dart on a map and that's where you went?
More like that. I mean, we wanted warm weather.
Yeah.
Warm weather.
Sure.
And then we were looking at different things like just affordability.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Great community.
And we started looking at all the little towns surrounding Tucson.
Yes.
Just started kind of trying to figure out how we would work it once.
Sure.
And we thought, we can make this work. And we think this is a little bit more affordable than the Phoenix area.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so we're going to give Tucson a try.
And how have you liked it so far?
We love Tucson.
It's a great community.
We love it. It's beautiful. I love the surroundings, the mountains. And
yes.
So, we're really happy with it. We're happy with the decision.
Yeah. Went from one pile of sand to another pile of sand.
Right.
Yeah. The beach to the desert, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, and obviously you moved and you guys have settled. It took you a little time to settle in and figure it out. So it is your guys' deals that you sell, and are most of them coming from cold calling, from networking, from referrals? What is that for you?
Well, when we got here, we were all about, we've got to do this networking. We didn't do that before. Cold calling, we had gotten very good at it.
Right, I'm sure. Yeah.
And, we thought, let's try this whole networking thing. And we really got, into that. We joined a few groups, and I don't think the networking thing, I don't know if it's just that we're not good at it. Right. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good at it.
Sure, it could be. Yeah.
But it didn't really work out. I think that the bottom line is that the folks that we were running into in these groups were not always the business owner, right? You weren't getting a decision maker.
True. Very true.
And a lot of the businesses that we like to work with, restaurants, auto repair shops, they weren't doing networking.
Good point.
They weren't there.
Good point.
So
the guy that has a cafe isn't going to a network group usually. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And the auto, repair, they're not. They're just not. So after a while, we made a lot of friends. It was a great experience, right?
Yeah.
But recently we've started to hit the road again and just go back to what we know,
back
right?
To the basics, right?
Just back to the basics.
That's awesome.
What do we know here? And we just, we're taking that approach again. And I think that personally, I feel like I have a lot more control when I'm able to choose the type of business. I have a plan. I know where I'm going. I know what doors I'm going to walk into, rather than sitting in a networking meeting feeling like a sitting duck. I don't,
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
I feel more comfortable walking in, asking a stranger for their business than I do somebody at a networking meeting.
Right. Totally get it.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I love about this business, right? There's people like you and Jeff that are just amazing at that part. But then there are people that are scared to death to walk into somewhere, right? And they will only do networking, so it's totally different for sure. That's what I love about it. And you get a good mixture of everything in this. So,
right.
So when you're walking into these places, you're talking to them, you're obviously having success, and guarantee you there's tons of people listening to this podcast right now who are like, holy crap, what are they doing? Because I'm getting turned away left and right. And you don't need to give away all the secret sauce here, right? Because obviously, but like, what is it? What are you just really good at connecting with people when you walk in there? Are you buying stuff? Are you,
I know, right? I know, good point.
Yeah. I used to have a friend that said that always told us that I'd eat 5 meals a day because he's like, I'd just go in and sit down and have to eat. I felt like I had to eat something over these places when I was cold calling. But what's kind of your approach to get the business owner, the decision maker to have that conversation with you?
Well, I think it's about walking in, and I usually introduce myself as another business owner.
Yes, great idea.
So right away you get their attention. It's just probably not what a lot of cold callers say. I say I'm a local business owner and wanted to stop in. I've driven by here, a bunch of times, and you make a little bit of small talk and you show some interest in what they're doing. But
yes.
I think finding their pain points right away is a good start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's 2 things there you said that I think are critical, though. I love that you said that is showing some interest in what they do. I think that's a big part of it. I think it's natural for you because I think you're a naturally curious person, right? You'd want to learn.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about that. When you just walk in and just go straight into, hey, I'm a credit card. I want to see your statement. I'll guarantee you I can save you money. Like you're just like everybody else. But if you come in and like have a genuine interest in their business and want to learn about, my gosh, all you do is, sell pants for giraffes. Like, how did you get into this business or whatever, right? There's something about that that's different than the rest of the salespeople.
You will see their eyes light up.
Right.
And the tone changes when you ask them about what they do. And if you can speak their language to a certain extent, you're in.
Absolutely.
So
you also said, and I think absolutely critical. Gosh, I mean, you've coached lots of people over the years. So have I, about, what you just said there is that I'm a local business owner. So basically what you're saying is that, I understand, I relate to you. I am on your same level. Like we get each other. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that is so ridiculously important. I really do. I've taught that for so many years to so many people that you watch people come in and it's almost like they're groveling, asking for, can I please get some time with you? It's like, no, wait a minute. You're a busy professional. They're a busy professional. There should be some mutual respect here. And if you walk in and act that way, then you're going to be treated with respect. It's not going to turn into a price game every time. If they're not going to be able to show up, they're going to text you out of respect for you, just like they would if they couldn't see their insurance agent, right? Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot to that, right? Yeah. I think that's great. I think acting like a professional and demanding you be treated like a professional is really important for sure. So how many years? So from day one when you were in Naples till now, how many years is that?
It would be 6.
6 years. Okay. All right. So you've seen a lot of change in 6 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and this is one of my favorite questions for people is over that 6 years, you've seen things like even the cash discounting and dual pricing or whatever verbiage people want to use today, right? Do you see is that some of the biggest changes you've seen? Is that sort of progress, or are there other things that you're seeing out there from your business owners where they're asking for things that today that they weren't asking for 5 years ago, and some of it might be the dual price, the cash discounting, but I'm just curious if there's something else maybe you're seeing.
Well, I think the cash discounting, dual pricing, all of that is accepted widely, much more than 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
5 years ago, they didn't even know what you were talking about. But now they always say, I've seen, my cousin Bob does it, and I was thinking about. So they're familiar with it. I think at this point in time, what you see now versus 5 years ago is they have an opinion. They know like that, hey, I'm doing that or I'm not doing that, and this is why. So versus, 5 years ago, they didn't really know what it was. They didn't. The big question was, is that legal? Is that even legal?
Exactly.
It's like, so you got more of that then. Now they have an opinion. But I also think that you do need to be a little bit more tech savvy moving forward. I think that I sell a lot of side terminals.
Sure.
And being tech savvy is not my strong point.
Right.
And it is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So, I'm doing my best to work with that. We've sold plenty of deals.
Yeah.
With a side terminal and a regular Deja Vu P3.
Yeah.
But I do think that moving forward in the industry that agents do need to be more open-minded to learning more of the technology.
Right. Absolutely. So this one's always one of my fun ones to ask as well is the future, right? What does the next 5 years, 10 years look like in this industry? Are we going to continue to see more, of the technology, more reliance on the technology? Are we going to see it step back, scale back? Some cash is going to go away. I just love hearing people's thoughts on what they think is going to happen in the future.
People saying that like cash is going to go away, right. Like cash. I don't think that's going to happen.
Been hearing that for 30 years.
That's not going to happen. Yeah. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe people won't even need a device, right? I mean, so much is being done on the phone.
Good point.
I'm not sure.
We're getting implants in our hands, maybe?
That's what I was going to say. Seriously.
It's coming probably. It's probably coming, yeah. This day and age. We'll just be born and have a chip implant in our hands, and we'll have all of our IDs on it and everything like that. Yeah, I can see that happening. So what's next for Kristy? I'd love to hear, you've had 6 years. You've done a lot. You guys have accomplished a tremendous amount. Hats off to you. I love the energy that you bring is freaking amazing. I love that about you. What is it just, hey, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to start building maybe a team, helping others. What does that look like for you? Is that, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer.
Well, for me right now, as far as a team, we did do a little bit of work on trying to get referral partners. I have to sit and really reflect on that because it just wasn't working.
Sure.
So I'm not sure. I have some ideas about it. I'm like, Kristy, look how hard it is for you to go out and get a deal, and look at all the training you've had, and look at how much knowledge you have. And you bring someone in as a referral partner, and you expect them to throw you something. And they know nothing. So I'm like, so I can't beat myself up or beat them up about it.
Sure.
But I spent a little bit of time on that, and I don't know that was a good.
I get that.
I'm not sure about the whole team.
Yeah, I get
thing.
that.
But definitely as far as Jeff and I think that separating for us, I think that it's time.
Now's when the true competition starts, right?
Yeah, it's time to, I go this way, you go that way, right? Like, how does that, I think it's time for us to figure out what that looks like, right?
Okay, good for you.
There comes a point where I'm like, is this functional? Is this dysfunctional? I don't know. I think we need to,
I love it.
Figure out how that's going to work.
All right. One last question for you. Has there been something or a story along these 6 years that is like, man, that's my favorite story to tell of something maybe I overcame, right? Something that was a struggle. It might have been a merchant that said, go away. Might have been there's lots of things it could be. Are there some things that are like, man, this was the defining, I don't mean the defining moment, but this was a strong moment for me that I really, once I overcame that, I was like, boy, that's a huge success right there. Is there anything like that for you?
And
it doesn't have to be. I was always like asking that. Yeah.
couple of things. I don't know. One of my favorite deals that we wrote was a restaurant, like a family restaurant.
Yeah.
And we drove by it, and I said, "What do you think? What about that one back there? They have a point of sale, don't they? They probably have a point of sale." And I'm like, "You know what? Should we turn around?" Turn around. We go back, and we actually walked out the door an hour later with that deal.
One call closed it.
Yeah,
Wow.
Restaurant.
Wow.
I mean, he's doing about $120,000 a month.
Nice.
Dual pricing.
Nice.
And I think that was a good moment for us to see that we could actually do that.
Even with a point of sale, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We actually, and he didn't have a point of sale. So it was a learning lesson there, because never judge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Judge it before you go in and see. But I think that was a point where we were really, really excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a cool one. I think it's a great lesson for everybody is don't judge the book by its cover, right? Just go in there. Don't drive by it again. Stop in and say hello for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Kristy, I appreciate you being here. This is awesome. Like I said before, I appreciate you coming and classing up the place big, because we usually have dudes in here. So thanks much. Thanks to everybody out there for watching AgentFirst Podcast. See you next time.